Los Angeles International to Paris Charles de Gaulle to Amsterdam Schiphol, departing March 24th, 2000. The first time I blew off steam internationally was not born of carpe diem. It was born of deep despair. I was 26, and I traveled to Europe with my childhood friend Hope on a girls' trip in the wake of a breakup with my first and most consequential love, Vito. This is obviously not his name. I let him name himself, though, so for our purposes, I had a 6-year relationship with a man named Vito. I handled the heartbreak like many 26-year-olds handled big breakups at the beginning of the third millennium. I pierced my belly button, got a Meg Ryan circa French kiss-style bleach job and haircut, and went to Amsterdam. First, a little more on the man behind the body-reclaiming piercing. Vito and I met our freshman year of college, had a close friendship sprinkled with drunken makeouts and missed connections for 2 years, then finally fell madly in love in the way it turns out you only fall in love when you're 20 and doing it for the first time. It took me 15 years of unsuccessfully chasing that first high to understand that. Slow learner. We fell in love in the early 90s, and so Vito and I thought a lot of Ethan Hawke and Winona Ryder movies were about us. Also Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy movies. Vito had a goatee and hated The Man, so basically anything with Ethan Hawke. After graduation, we laughed at our friends who went straight to work at ad agencies and consulting firms, and instead backpacked around Europe for the summer, then spent a dreamy fall, winter, and spring working and skiing in Vail, Colorado. In Vail, we sublet a room from 2 racist brothers who talked a lot about their Scottish ancestry and who were trying to become alpine models. You just gotta be a rad skier and be super good looking, and I really think my skiing's there this year, the younger racist explained. After Vail, Vito got into grad school at UC Santa Barbara, and I moved to LA to try to write for television. It turned out that meant spending 80 hours a week driving around town with carloads of film and fetching coffee for writers. It meant squeezing in time to work on my own writing, only to have a male writer notice and say, "Aw, you're writing something? That's so cute." It meant spending lunch hours giving a high-level writer ideas for a script that he jotted down word for word, getting more hopeful and proud with each great idea he gave me, and then being told over the check, "Someday you're gonna make a great producer's wife." It meant pitching jokes in a writer's room and hearing, "Aw, isn't she pretty?" before being told to pitch it again while doing jumping jacks, or perhaps sitting on the showrunner's lap. It meant always laughing all of it off. Anyway, while I navigated the world of Hollywood, Vito moved to jasmine-scented Santa Barbara to learn how to surf, and became a part-time forest ranger and environmental studies grad student who couldn't wrap his head around ever living in Los Angeles, where TV writers have to live. For the next 3 years, we commuted the 100 miles between Los Angeles and Santa Barbara to see each other, and I tried to think of something else to do with my life. I racked my brain. It certainly wasn't like long hours of drudgery and sexual harassment were so satisfying that they seemed worth losing the love of my life over. But despite the massive motivation to come up with an alternate life plan, I couldn't think of anything else I wanted to do. And eventually, I realized that meant something.